You were doing the British accent earlier too, and
That's
now
true. Well,
I feel like
this is actually I'm doing an American accent right now.
It's very well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought it was kind of like I was talking with a mouthful of cotton, but
you
whatever.
did say cotton, right?
Cotton, yes, I did.
Make sure.
Okay.
Just trying to make sure that we're getting off to the right start.
And I had a beer with dinner, so watch out.
Oh, you did? See, I turned down a beer for dinner because I was like, wow, I'm talking to Marcus in a few minutes, and I need to have my wits about me because he's difficult to keep up with.
Didn't think you needed to be like at least one sheet to the wind?
Yeah, what does that mean to be one sheet? Like
3 sheets to the wind. That's interesting. I happen to know the origin to that thing. A sheet, of course, it's from sailing. Yeah, you did. I was trying to set it up so that you would ask me that. No, but it's from sailing, as so many things are. And a sheet is actually not a sail. It's a rope, right? And so you got.
What do you mean? Wait. Let me just stop you right there.
Okay.
What do you mean, right? You said a sheet, not a sheep. That's a different saying.
Sheep in the sailing industry is a very different thing.
A sheet is a rope.
Yeah, it's a rope that secures a sail, right? And so if you've got 3 sheets to the wind, which means that 3 of the ropes are unbound from the sail, and the sail's just flopping around, then it's causing the boat to rock back and forth in an erratic behavior, and that's, it sort of mimics, or somebody's being drunk walking around mimics that erratic rocking of the boat. So there you go. Sheets of ropes.
I feel like there's probably a YouTube video in my future.
I'm sure CGP Grey has done one on this. But,
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
Do you not? Wow, he's a staple of the internet. YouTube, interesting information videos.
Well, maybe I'd recognize him. Right? Maybe I'd recognize him.
Yes.
If I saw him.
Yeah, he kind of came to the scene with a video that explained the difference between Great Britain, the British Isles, the United Kingdom, etc. And it was really well done with little illustrations and animations and stuff. And it's got a whole slew of them, and they're really good. And check them out. CGP Grey. I have no idea what it stands for.
CPG Grey.
CGP Grey.
CGP Grey. So this is, I feel like I'm learning not only about music, I'm learning about color or something. Like, it sounds like a setting on my television, or it sounds like was it Every Good Boy Does Fine, or every?
Yeah. That's the line notes of the treble clef. Yeah. Every Good Boy Does Fine, and FACE are the space notes.
Well, see, it's just like that.
There's one for the bass clef, and I don't remember what it is. I don't know why I remembered the treble and not the bass. But I learned them in piano, so I was supposed to know both. But I'm now terrible at piano, which this may be an insight as to why that is. Bass clef, it's just a low treble, right? Oh, that's your problem right there. I think I spotted the issue.
I don't know. I'm
turn
so
the
out of my depth.
upside down,
I feel like I'm just going to listen to you. Because I feel like I'm so out of my depth in this conversation already.
Well, you do some singing, don't you? Have I seen you sing? Have I not like in person, but
I mean, I've been known to sing from time to time. People don't pay me to sing. People don't.
Do they pay you not to sing?
Well, no, it's not that bad. But
okay.
But I've never really been asked to sing. Either. No one's been it's not like the guy at the party who brings the guitar and someone says, hey, can you play us something?
We had that guy in college.
I've never sat around a fire with a group of friends and had them say, hey, Jason, just sing us a little tune. This never happened.
Up closer to fine.
It's never ever happened. And I don't know. Now I feel bad. Now I feel, I don't know. I feel like I have nothing to offer you.
Well, what we need to do is we need to get the boys together and go out for like a karaoke night or something. I think that would be fun.
So yeah, no, okay. So let's. So speaking of which, well, karaoke's fun as long as you're in the right environment. Like if you're in one of those environments where, and I was introduced to this in California, where you go and there's these small rooms. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like big venues, which are scary, but they're like these small little rooms where you go in and you have like a group of 10 or 15 friends, and they can sometimes they serve food and of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
alcohol and so forth, and then you have a little machine. They should teach you how to use it, and then you just sing for like a couple hours, right?
Yeah, and it's just like your friends. And yeah, that's the way all the karaoke bars are in Japan.
Oh,
They do the thing where you go up and you rent like this room and all your buddies get in there, and it's like you said, it's not like in front of the entire bar with a bunch of strangers, or like on a cruise ship with even more strangers. It's just you and your microphone and a bunch of people that will try their darndest not to hurt your feelings, and that's a much more positive environment for something like that. That's definitely. But I tell you, they've if you can think of it, these karaoke machines, they have it, man. I've found some of the most obscure stuff on there. I actually kind of rocked out to Mr. Roboto in Japan, so I thought that was rather apropos.
I
I am the modern man.
I wonder, I wonder Domomori got to Mr. Roboto. I
Yeah.
wonder if it kind of feels wrong though. It feels like you're
Wrong?
mocking them. Doesn't it feel like you're mocking
Oh
them?
no,
No?
they're if you make an effort to even say "domo arigato," they're very appreciative of that.
Okay. Well, I think that we need to do the karaoke thing. I often wonder. So I've been on a cruise or two or three or four in my life, and I've gone.
Yeah,
to the
that company
karaoke
that
room.
has the thing over there, they do a cruise. I understand.
Who is that?
The Disney people, was that right?
yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, I've never done a Disney cruise.
Have you not?
Mm-mm.
I've done one. I've done a 2-day Disney cruise. That's all I've done.
Like 2 days. They only sailed for 2 days, or they asked you to leave after 2 days.
Well, is there a difference really? No, they did sailed out of San Diego down to, I can't think of the name of it. It's just a pretty close town in Mexico, and then it sailed right back. So I guess technically 3 days, 2 nights. But it was one of those things where I hadn't sailed the Disney cruise line and I wanted to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to do sort of the little test run thing, kind of like I was talking about the shirt the other day. You just get the one shirt, and if they do good, then you get the more shirts, right? Well, like this, I was going to do, hey, 2-day cruise, no problem. I can do that easy. Did it? I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Came back, and now I'm ready to do bigger cruises, but
Did they have karaoke?
COVID happened. They did have karaoke.
Did you do it?
I can't remember if I did it or not.
How do you not remember if you did karaoke?
Well, they also have alcohol on the cruise.
Were you 3 sheets or just 2 sheets?
That was 9 sheets, I think. There
It was a large ship.
There were
many
sailors
sails.
actively throwing ropes into the water.
You mean
no, we
sheets.
don't even need this.
Sheets.
3 sheets and 2 sheets to the way. But
I feel like there's a joke in there, like 3
I doubt
sheets
it.
with sheets walk into a bar to
They
sing
say, "Oh."
karaoke.
yeah. What do they sing? It's a riddle.
Ba ba black sheep or something. So if I don't understand though, you're on a cruise ship, and I'm not speaking about you like specifically, but I think you would be included in this as I would be. You're on this cruise ship, and they're doing karaoke, and it's a big room, and like, why don't we do it? Like, what is it about that moment that makes me feel, and I'm not going to project this onto you yet, but I'm like, for me, what makes me think like, no, it's not a good idea. You should not get up there and insert excuse here.
Right.
I mean, like,
So, like, what are you afraid of, basically?
yeah, like what? Like,
Yeah. Well, see, I'm not afraid. I am a performer, I guess, by nature. I'm a actor and all that. But yeah, like I remember being like even in early college before I kind of shook my whole stage fright thing, like taking public speaking class was like petrifying, right? I mean, it's my time to get up there, and it's like, what is it exactly you think is going to happen? I mean, you're the crowd or the audience or the class, they're not going to rise up and kill you or stab you or throw things at you
most of the time, right?
Yeah, provided you don't make exactly the wrong speech. You totally pick the wrong guy to learn from for persuasive speeches. Then yeah, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? People are bored, and then how is that scary? But for some reason, that trips like this bizarre fight or flight response in us that we're like, oh my God, I'm petrified. I remember in high school, man, I was a basket case if I had to get up in class.
I don't feel that way though. Like I don't mind public speaking.
Oh, so it's not a stage fright type fear thing. It's
but apparently, but of course it is. Like it's a very specific type of stage fright. And I did sing, like I did the whole choir thing when I was in, school, and I had solos and stuff. Like I've done stuff like that. But there's something about the karaoke room.
Oh, like that specifically seems.
Yeah. And now I'm talking, but this is feeling very therapeutic. Now I feel like I probably have to do it.
Well, yeah, I would think that that's obvious, and
Joel,
I would wonder.
Thanks,
I would
doctor.
wonder. Well, clearly we and if you don't mind, I'll prescribe you some alcohol
Listen,
as well.
imbecile, like you really know what your problem is.
Well, of course you need to do that.
Why are you
What
even
is wrong
talking
with
to me?
you? But yeah, it's specifically to karaoke that this.
Well, I
this
mean, that's the
exists.
one I've discovered so far. I'm sure there's something else like public. I'm sure like I wouldn't strip. There's that.
Probably true. And
Yeah,
most people don't appreciate like stripping on spec, like you, like you're giving them sort of a demo, and they're like, "Do you want to give me money for this later?" And this is just to give you a little idea of what you could be patronizing here if you wanted to. They don't like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I just don't understand the why. Like, because yes, some people will be judgy. I think maybe that's the thing. Maybe I just have really judgy friends, and maybe the problem is I've spent too much time in karaoke joints surrounded by people who are critical of the people up there.
Oh, right.
You know
Kind
what
of
I
turns
mean?
around and bites you, huh?
So now, like,
Yeah,
I
like
know,
it's
I
fun to
know
make
what they're
fun of
gonna
them while
say.
they're up there.
As soon as I walk away from the table, like I know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
what it is.
that is something to think about. But no, I think that surely your friends are.
Would I be more likely? Would I be more likely to sing karaoke where I didn't know anybody?
So
Than
no
if I
friends
was-
at all.
Correct.
I don't know. What do you?
I
not
think
to
I
be
would,
Counselor
actually.
Troy. But
Well,
what do you think?
I would. So here's the thing. I think if I oh, this is really, now we're getting deep into my neurosis here, because like I think that probably the closest thing to this that I also have going on is like not liking to dance,
Oh God,
which isn't
I am
true. Like I actually do
right
like to
with you.
dance. I do. Like,
I do not.
I mean, it's awkward. I look like a
I will
fool.
dance ironically. That's about as.
Like, is there any other way?
Not for me, that's for sure.
But
Some people are very earnest.
earnest and good are not the same thing.
This is true, and that's
Right.
why I don't dance.
Well, listen to us. This is what we're saying. So, but I know for a fact that if I'm in a group of people who don't like previously know me, maybe I just met them very recently, or even just that day or that weekend or something, and then we're going somewhere, there's something like that happening. This isn't recent. This is like way back, right?
Right.
Then I was actually more likely to dance. Oh no, there is a
Okay.
recent example. When I went to India,
Ah,
I was there for a wedding, when I crashed the wedding, and they had, of course, like several nights of activities, and one of the nights involved like probably a couple of nights. One of the nights that involved dancing, I danced.
There you go. And that's in a completely different culture.
But I think that's the thing. I'm like literally on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Surrounded by people who don't know me.
Right.
I'm like the only white guy.
So you've got like a built-in excuse there
to not.
Like if I'm embarrassing, they'll be like, "Well, it's just a white guy."
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. So okay. So then take that and apply that to the karaoke thing. Like I think clearly in a setting like that, I would do karaoke.
So you would kill in India in karaoke.
I would do it. I would. Like, they may actually want to kill me when it's all finished. But I So I think that's the thing. I think for me, it's like there's as long as there's a sort of anonymity, but not anonymity, almost novelty. Like
nobody knows you, so it won't follow you.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to begin to try to explain the why that is. So
probably a good idea.
So really, what I need is the speed dating equivalent of karaoke. I need
so
we
verse.
Should go. Maybe this is what I'll do. I'm going to create a karaoke place where you go, but you're assigned to a room with people you don't know, but they don't know each other either.
Right. So everybody's a stranger to everybody.
Everyone's a stranger to everyone.
I think people would be a lot more positive about things if they didn't have like their buddy to go, "Hey, this guy sucks," right?
Right? Why? Like, it's crazy.
Because you also know you're about to be up there too, and so you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. That's not a bad idea. That's sort of a weird egalitarian sort of karaoke, like enforced equality.
Oh, we've created great. We've created.
I thought we were talking about politics. What is this? Some kind of Bernie Sanders karaoke? What the hell?
I just yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's like an anonymity thing, maybe.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
Does it?
Well, I mean, you tell me. It's your theory, but it seems to.
I don't know. I feel like I have to try to.
That there's a certain amount of devil may care. What have I got to lose if you are alone by yourself and nobody knows you, right? Because, like I said, it doesn't follow you home. Like nobody knows what you did and can bug you about it later.
What exactly happens to you in these karaoke rooms?
Well, I don't know. I wake up and
they're not champagne rooms, Marcus.
The microphone is covered in butter, and I don't know what happened. And I just know that I have a very, very strong headache behind my left eye, and I don't know why.
Where did all this glitter come from?
A lot of glitter, and everything smells very strongly of pine for some reason. And I really wish I knew, and am glad that I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I think we have to try this out. And I think, I don't know. I'm thinking in my head, there are other friend groups I would go out with though and do karaoke. And I think there are. Like, I think among my Disney friends, I don't think I'd have any problem going out.
Yeah, well, karaoke. Fun-loving bunch.
Yeah. Well, I can't. So
don't seem very judgmental.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just
Lisa.
Well, she would certainly be. Yeah, I love you, Lisa, but she'd certainly be judgmental. But that's okay, because that's part of the shtick.
Right. That's it's on character. It's on brand.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, I think we should test this out. Is there a Disney property night club that does regular karaoke?
No.
I don't even know that there is.
No. Plus, you're not allowed to go anywhere anyway, and you can't take your mask off. And so you really...
Very muffled songs.
There's really no karaoke in our future.
That's true.
Except for virtual karaoke.
Unless we do like Rock Band or something.
Right.
Which might be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get together at your place and play some Rock Band.
Yes, as my dogs attack us. That'd be great. They would love that.
We can do that. Who let the dogs out? song.
We could be like, who's going to let the dogs out because they're
Will someone
attacking-
let the dogs
they're attacking my guitar. This isn't working very well.
out? And then that segues into While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And then we've got Atomic Dog by George Clinton. And
Yeah, no, that's probably not on my karaoke list.
it's not,
Well,
it should be.
we're not doing the karaoke now. We're doing
Probably, oh, yeah. We're doing
rock band. That's
Rock Band. I don't know if there's any George Clinton songs on Rock Band. There should be. I mean, there's not a lot of guitar in them either, so. So you got a keyboard and you got some drums and you got a really, really sick fat bass. And that's all you got.
So, are there any things like that for you? Like you're like that
Things
there's
I'm-
well, where it's, you're not, it's not like a universal issue. Like for me, I think like, okay, we're talking about karaoke, public speaking is not an issue.
Yeah.
Public, performance of some sort is not an issue necessarily.
Not anymore.
But it's like,
Certainly at one point it was.
but there's certain things that still are, but they're within like the realm, like maybe a Venn diagram of some sort. Are there other things are there things like that for you that you don't?
I shy away from. Well,
Yeah,
certainly
like-
dancing. That's one of them. It's like, and it's such a cliche thing to say and I know that it's also sort of missing the point to say this, but I don't know what the hell to do up there. It's like, what am I supposed to, and you're supposed to let the music move you, as the song lyrics say. But whenever I do that, it's always the same kind
Did
of,
you just quote Gloria Stefan?
I may have.
Okay.
I may have. I'm not afraid to do that. I will do it when I need to.
Rhythm is
But,
going to get you, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it most of the time it fails to get me. I'm like, I'll like groove or whatever, but what I am doing is nobody's dancing.
So here's my problem.
You do the little sort of fighting stance sort of thing. Yeah, it was that was about it.
Yeah, like I'm blessed with a wife who would love for me to dance all the time. Like she just loves to dance, and but I don't believe her. Like when she's like, if I say, do I look like an idiot? She would say no, and I don't think she's not telling me the truth. It's more like she actually has no taste. No, like she has,
Her
like
judgment is
she's actually not judgy, right? She's not judging it. That's
Right.
the thing, right? So, but that's the same reason why I can't say to her, "Hey, does my hair look okay?" Which I'm a dude. I shouldn't be saying that anyway, but I have been known to say that from time to time.
Dudes care about their hair. You got to see what I go through every morning, and this is what the result is. So it's not like it's useful
Well, it's
effort.
like, is my hair? Well, it's like do I have park hair? It's like the wind's been blowing it 16
Oh,
different
yeah.
directions. Anyway,
and it's half
and
of it
she'll
is
say,
sweat.
"No, that looks fine. Yeah, it's great. No, it's fine." And then I look and I find a mirror. I'm like, "What the? Where were you? Not look? Are you looking?"
Yeah, I've got
at
a
somebody
marlin
else?
fin shooting up here.
I look like a flock of seagulls. Like, what's happening here?
I ran
I thought
so
that's-
far away.
I thought that's what you were going for.
You were listening to 80s music. I heard you. I figured you were going for the hair.
But I think that I know I don't dance well. Like compared, because I see other people, I feel like I know, like I'm a good judge of like
I'm so envious of that too.
of good dancing. Like I see it happening. I'm like, damn.
How are you
right?
doing that?
And I know I can't do that. Not that I could never do it, but like as it is today, like I couldn't pick up a
Right,
guitar
yeah.
and start playing either. But like I do believe that I could learn to play.
Yeah, the knowledge is not unattainable.
Not
It's-
terribly. But I feel like I'm not gonna get out there and do that thing most of the time. But I do think there's some part of us who like there's some people who are super judgy. Like so like I was saying, Michelle's at one end of the spectrum where she's it's like, oh,
Everything's great.
it's great. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then there's that other side. Like I've seen these spouses, like these wives who like ridicule their husbands. Like,
It's
and
not
like, oh my God. Like, and I'm not going to name names, but like, it's mean.
yeah.
And,
yeah, that's a shame.
And I know, but at the same time, it's like, it's probably true.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that are
So,
true, but you still don't say
maybe
them.
maybe she's just being protective, right? Like, so like I don't know. I so I don't know. I think in situations where like you're with new people or it's anonymous or whatever, like that, of course people are, you got this mix of people who are like not even paying attention or just
Right.
completely accepting, or people who are like super judging, like definitely you're
Mhm.
judging, right? But because you don't know them, they're not like coming up to you and be like, dude, like stop. You're like terrible, right?
Please, you're hurting me.
Like, whereas if you're with friends, especially like guys who are like, we're trying to, like there's always that, like, we're trying to reinforce the behavior, like the group dynamic, the group behavior. So if like,
Mhm.
if we're in a group of like 4 or 5 guys and like one of them or 2 of them want to go like dance out on the floor, like the other, we're going to ridicule the dude probably because
Sure.
we don't want to be the guys who are on. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm totally speculating, but and I
But
don't
I
even
think
know why
when-
we're still talking about this.
I think when guys rag on each other like that, though, I think there's a lot more. I don't know. It somehow doesn't sting as much as when like
no,
maybe your spouse or your your female friends or whatever do that, because that sort of bro, dogging on each other. It was like I told Michelle, I think, to say that make sure you tell Jason he's a dork, and. And see that your reaction just then. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a dork.
it's true
Because
I mean,
we do that. I mean, and I hate to get all gender normative here, but it's kind of a guy thing, right? But when you get up there and then you see the look that either a female that you are friends with or romantically involved with, or even don't even know, you can see the look in their eyes that like they kind of want to stab you in the throat because you're doing whatever it is you're doing. And that's worse. That's painful.
wow. Well,
That's what I'm scared of, is that look.
is the I'm going to stab you in the throat look.
Yes, exactly. It's a very specific look.
It doesn't seem like an unfounded fear.
No, I don't find it to be
If someone
an
does actually have
irrational fear.
that look in their, yeah, thank you. If somebody has that look in their eyes, I think that's it's appropriate to feel scared, especially if there's sharp objects around.
And if you're on a cruise ship and there's nowhere to run,
I'm gonna throw you over the side. That's right.
they gotta come after you at the chocolate melting cake
Your
spoon.
karaoke was so bad.
You're being keel hauled.
And then when you started dancing during the karaoke, I just put me over the edge. I couldn't take it. That was it. I
Dancing
drew
and
the line.
singing at the same time. Oh my, that's adding a difficulty level right there.
Wow. Well, now so now we've totally this is great because we have now set the expectation for our inability
For
of all
our
sorts.
impending rather
That's great.
performances at karaoke. Everybody's
That's-
going to be like, well, they said they were going to suck. True to their word.
I was told, so I tried to learn to dance salsa at one point.
Salsa?
Yeah,
you say?
salsa. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I wasn't the worst. But I was near
What
the
you should go
bottom.
for.
I was near the most, definitely near the bottom. But I think I was doing it wrong too, because I've since been told that
You're doing the chunky salsa, maybe.
well, it's always with me. It's always the chunky salsa. But like we were trying to do, I was like, I think I was just trying to make my hips move a certain way. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah.
If you've seen salsa dancing, then you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But
I've seen you. So
well, right. So put 2 and 2 together. So if you are apparently if you're properly salsa dancing, it's not about the hip. You don't even pay attention to your hips. It's all about the knees.
Oh, the knees. Interesting.
Yeah, moving your legs, moving your knees, which makes sense because things are attached.
Well,
it's
granted.
it's like little levers going.
So if you move the one, the other will move
Yeah, it's like shoot
just on its own in a good way.
Yeah.
So if you're focused on the wrong side of it, then maybe that's causing problems.
Right. And this is, of course, is all theoretical knowledge at this point. I haven't actually tested any
No
of these
practical
hypotheses, but I do have quite the dissertation planned for as a fallback career if I ever.
You had it peer reviewed yet?
Well, yeah, I feel like I could do a good paper on like the biomechanics of salsa dancing. Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty cool,
right? Because we could use the apps. We could use apps to have biomarkers that applied, or the sort of physical like markers, and then you could digitally analyze like the movements of people, and then
you could do like the little ping pong
champion
balls
level salsa dancers,
mocap.
and then of course that would be used to test the hypothesis that it's really all about like the movement of the knees, right? And the people who move the knees a certain way would be more likely to win. This whole thing's just like I may have to do this.
You better copyright that. There were people
like,
going to run with that.
Yeah, that's what you have to do to protect. Like people I know, I have friends. Again, will not name names, but people who have been working on dissertations or had worked on dissertations for like a decade or more.
Oh wow!
Like the one thing you never have to worry about is someone stealing your dissertation idea and running with it faster than you.
It's not so much of a run. This is kind of a saunter.
Yeah, well, I say that about like business ideas too. People are always afraid to talk about their business ideas. Like, oh well,
yeah, well,
I have to get a non-disclosure agreement signed before I tell you about this. And
turns out your friends have as little ambition as you do.
Well, I was like, no one does anything. Like seriously, like there's such a small percentage of people in the world who actually are going to take an idea, someone else's idea or their idea or whatever, and actually do something with it.
True. Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is that you probably would, all told, you'd probably enjoy if somebody took your idea and did something with it, and then you could like maybe try to get in on it later, but you're letting them take the risk. You can be like, well, let's see if he crashes and burns. No, hey, it worked. Hey, dude, that was my idea. If he's flaming out real hard, you're like, I wouldn't have done that.
I feel like we just described the plot line of several movies. Or sitcoms, at least. I don't know.
All down to salsa dancing.
Yeah, I mean, people are lazy. The reason not everyone are like champion level salsa dancers or approaching it is because like we're just not taking the time.
That's true. That's the reason I'm not.
I mean, like, right? I mean, like, that's. I don't know why. So in my head, before I switch topics, I need to explain the bridge that just like was built in my pea brain here. So, I imagined for some reason when I talked about like people are lazy and people aren't going to do anything, like I was imagining like all the projects at home that I have to do that I haven't done.
Yeah.
Right. Sort of, and then that. So then that literally made me think of some projects, especially outside, out in the backyard on Lanai that I need to get done, that I want to get done. Mm-hmm. Which then made me think about these chaise lounges that we just got rid of. That we actually purchased with the house. They sort of came with the Lanai. Like we didn't have to, but these folks were moving to Colorado, and so apparently there's not a
not a big outdoor chaise lounge market out there.
Yeah, right. There's no pools. I lived in Colorado for a couple of years. There's no pools. I mean, there's school pools or private club pools or something. But people don't have pools.
But a house isn't going to have one.
No,
because they don't want to freeze thing over. And
not a thing. Anyway, so we got these chaise lounges, and they were really nice, and I got them for a relative steal. And so
you had to get the house with them, though.
They're typically expensive, like those kinds of things. They're like stupid expensive. It's like when you buy a dining room set and you realize like it's like $3,000 and $2,500 of it is in the chairs. Like the
chairs are ridiculous.
It's like they're throwing the table in. Like there's like they're like tables are like the car mats of furniture stores. They're like, hey,
and it's hard to find them that aren't. I mean, you're paying out the wows for like 6, all told, relatively uncomfortable chairs.
Right? It's crazy. It's just nuts. it's a scam because they know you
It
like
is
you
a
buying a
scam.
table. Well, you're gonna want to sit down. I mean, probably
Right. What do I just the table?
right. You'll be
We'll
back
throw
later.
you in one chair.
Trust me, you'll be back.
First one's free.
We'll give you 6 chairs. Each of them has 3 legs.
Oh, you want the 4th leg edition?
No. I'd like the active balancing chair. Thank you very much. The core.
get 2 legs.
It's the core
2
development.
legs and a book on Zen meditation.
So I'm getting rid of these chaise lounges because they're a mess now. Like after a year and a half, the little like the weave on the plasticky fabric, I don't know, whatever that material is coming undone. It's like split in a lot of spots, and that's exposed metal like underneath.
Yeah.
And then the feet. This is the thing that drives me crazy. The feet, which were also like metal and plastic, they were completely rusting out. Like we got rust stains on my lanai that I got to figure out. Like,
Oh
we gotta put
God,
paint
that's
over or
terrible.
something. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so I'm like, I've got to get rid of these. They got to go. So carried them to the front because yesterday was bulk pickup day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday was bulk. No, I'm sorry. Today was bulk pickup day. I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore, Marcus. Like,
There aren't days in the week
like
anymore.
I'm like,
There's daytime and there's nighttime, and that's
we
the
used to
only
joke about
Terminators
that,
that
like,
exist.
we actually used to joke and be like, I don't even know what day of the week it is. Like, I literally just for a second like didn't realize what day of the week it is. So today was bulk trash pickup day. So yesterday we were carrying these chairs out. We stacked them all up, and nice and neat, but in the proper spot out by the mailbox. We ran to my mom's to have dinner. Came back. They're gone. Gone.
And it's not bulk pickup day.
No,
So
right.
somebody said, "Hey, those look great."
Those look great, right? That's what they said. And I'm thinking to myself, now the first thing I think to myself is, did I make a mistake? Should I not have gotten rid of them? Were they?
Oh, like what do they know that I don't know?
Right. I mean, like, are they like? Because I can think of people put furniture out all the time, especially something that's made of wood, and people see that and like, oh, I can refinish that, right? And so I can imagine
Right.
somebody they see a cabinet or they see a chest of drawers or something, and they say, oh,
Mhm.
and they grab it and they put it in their truck, and because they're going to sand it and paint it and make it look whatever, right? I know that happens, and more power
Yeah.
to those people. But these chairs were falling apart, like
Right.
and rusted.
Objectively poor chairs.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand what I missed. Like what element of value?
And somebody was like, "Those are very rare Eames chaise lounges, and we're gonna restore them."
Do you know what I mean? Like now I'm like, now I don't want them back, but I am.
Now that somebody took them,
I don't want these like rust juice creation machines like to be on my property anymore. But I'm curious. Like I wish they would have left me a note or something that said,
yeah, explain yourself.
well, I just want to know,
Why
like,
did you
I'll
take
call
these?
them in like in 6 months to like, how are the chairs doing? Like,
They're like, "Well, yesterday was really warm because we burned them."
yeah, so that happened, and so whoever got those chairs, I hope they do something for you, because
Yeah, they clearly were not doing anything for you.
no, and I kind of feel bad. Like I'm like half expecting that they'll show back up.
They'll come back and be like, "Never mind,
I know that, like, right?
we were wrong."
Damn, I didn't, like, I just thought of that, and it's like it's like a
They might
legitimately
bring them back.
it's a legitimately scary thought.
That
Like,
would be hilarious.
and the worst part is like it'll like show up on a non-bulk pickup day. Like, so
Right.
I have to decide, like, am I just going to leave them out here for days and be that neighbor who like prematurely puts stuff out for bulk pickup when
Sure,
it's like
right.
4 or 5 days away? Like, dude, like, what are you doing? We all know.
It's like meerkats living in there now.
But I can't put them in here because they're going to get rust juice all over everything. I can't do that. Oh man, I really feel.
They show back up and there's a note on them that says, "Dude, these suck."
Well, think about it. Like if you get like I'm just like seriously think about the logistics of this. Okay, so you're somebody who's picked these up because you have this expectation that's not gonna be met. There's no way, unless they're working on some weird art project or something.
That might be actually.
This isn't California.
Well,
like,
true,
yeah, if I
but
put stuff out on the street in Berkeley, I could totally like see that happening. If we would like
they're gonna get
weeks
Banksy.
later, we'd be walking past some gallery and we'd see it as like this giant mobile, like like beautiful, like hanging from this giant sculpture thing, right? Representing some kind of like
called
dystopian
persistence,
whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
something.
Squirting rust juice all over the wall. It's great. It's actually like now it's like a
And it's called simply 2020.
oh my god. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. So if I was the dude who picked this up, assume it's a dude because women have better taste than that, right?
One would think, yeah.
They pick it up and then they get home and they put it out around their pool or campfire, I don't know, whatever. And then they like realize God, these suck.
What were we thinking?
Now what if they don't live in what if they live in a neighborhood that doesn't do like bulk
pickup? Yeah.
Right now what do? You're gonna have to go to the dump. You have to pay money or something. You're gonna call. What are you gonna call 1-800-GOT-JUNK and like spend $200?
Yeah, I mean, if you're picking up chaise lounges off of people's yards,
probably not going to
the
do
got
that,
junk
right?
budget's probably very low. Yeah, and here's the other thing that I was thinking of about this is an interesting thing that must be true is that, and it also speaks to the fact that it's probably a dude, right? Because that has to be an impulse kind of thing, right? That you didn't know that those were going to be there. So you look at it and you go, oh, we got to have those.
Oh, if he did, I need to have another conversation with Michelle.
But you also have to have a way to get them, like right now, right? So you have to be in a truck or in a something that is capable of taking those things.
Or have quick access to a truck. Because
well, see, that's the thing, is in what world do you look at the trash in somebody's house and go, ooh, we could use those, and you actually go back, pick up something that will hold these things and drive all the way back and pick them up. That's a time commitment right there. That's some dedication to get these chaise lounges.
My theory is that there's probably people who drive around the neighborhoods. They know when the bulk pickup is in various neighborhoods, and then they drive around.
So it's kind of a thing.
Kind of like a it's like a serendipitous yard sale-ish thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
Where they're just sort of they're just like driving around looking for things, right? And then
that's interesting.
And then this happened. But there was this guy who drove by in this white, it was not a truck though. It was like a white Corolla or something. Mm-hmm. When we were putting it out, and I made eye contact with, and it was like this knowing glance, like, and I know he like had his eyes on the chairs.
Oh, I think we have our guy.
Well, I don't know, like, but he had a Corolla. Like, it wasn't. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so he's either got a lot of twine and no dignity.
Who carries twine around? Like my grandfather, I'm sure, like he would have twine. Like, hey, do you have any twine?
I would imagine a guy that picks up decrepit chaise lounges from people's yards would have quite a bit of twine.
I don't have any twine, but I do have a lot of sheets.
There you go. Boy, let me tell you, those chaise lounges are 3 sheets to the wind, boy.
So so that happened, and it's interesting, and I don't know where they are now, and I don't know what is it like, why there's this part of me, like a part of me is like, most of me is like, good, great, I'm glad they're gone.
Oh yeah,
right, because I was putting
ostensibly it's what you wanted.
Yeah, and frankly it was better for them not to sit there overnight, because in my like lizard brain I was thinking, oh, what if I stacked these improperly and a small child or something or an animal like walks by and they fall like on this little person or animal or something. I actually thought about that, and so I like gave it a little shimmy, like is this secure? Okay, good. Because it was, by the time you stack 4 of these, they're got some height to it. And
And the
so I was
rust
glad they're
is
gone.
tetanus.
I can sleep tonight. Like nothing is going to. It's not going to fall over on anybody. That's great. It's also not going to fall into the street, which then you're that guy who like piles stuff in the street.
Oh God, yeah. Nobody likes that guy.
Right. So so that was all good, but there's still this little part of me that's like, really, dude, like that wasn't your stuff.
They stole my trash.
Like
there is something weirdly off-putting about that. No, I totally get it.
it's unsettling, right? Like
I was fine with it going to the dump when nobody could have it, but for somehow it being in somebody else's house now, and it used to be in my house, that's weird. I totally get that. I'd love to say that that's ridiculous, but it's totally not.
it feels ridiculous, but it's so like if I can't
Oh,
have
it
it, no one
should be,
can.
but somehow it isn't. I don't know.
I know. Well, the economist in me is a little pissed off, though, right? Like so, the economist in me is saying, well, clearly, if there was something of value, you should have paid me something,
Oh, right. Yeah.
like at least a fee for bringing it out to the street.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I made it easier for you. Yes, I didn't know there
Exactly.
was a market for this, but now that I do, I should receive
I don't want to
some-
retroactively apply some fees here.
I don't know.
I'm a little
So-
distressed that there's an economist in you. That's bothersome
really?
to me.
There's an economist in all of us.
Is there?
Oh yeah,
It's,
every oh yeah, constantly. I mean, most
I
of
guess
it's
so.
irrational and
well, that makes
motivated
sense.
by emotion, not by actual.
Emotional economy. Emotionomy.
Yeah, well, there are behavioral
really work?
economists.
They're
There's like
evil
a whole-
economists.
There's a whole there's this whole like school of economics out there around behavioral economics.
Oh, okay. I thought you said evil economics. I know. It was
Well, there's that too.
well, I'm sure there is, but I mean,
It's like
just you were talking about a whole
seen any good
school of
superhero movie?
it's like the weird
million.
Sith version of the economists. You sort of
Say Sith.
yeah, like they're being trained in evil economy or economics.
Well, there was the Bankers Guild in
guess
in
Reaganomics,
episode
huh?
1 of remember Star Wars episode 10?
Oh, right.
Like the
Bankers
totally like
Guild, yeah.
horribly anti-Semitic bankers.
Oh man, yeah.
Terrible. I mean, it's
I think we'll do everyone a
Trade Federation and the
a
banking
massive
guild.
service if we don't get off on the prequels because I have many choice things to say about them.
Well, we probably are too much in agreement to talk about.
Yeah, like
that to be entertaining.
How boring is that?
It'll just be two
They
guys. Like,
suck, right? Oh God, yes. Well, there's our show.
please,
2 thumbs down. That's it.
please don't spend 45 minutes talking about it. Something that everyone agrees with.
Nice
that
hot
water
take there.
wasn't that water extra wet today?
It really was, and clear. There was so much oxygen, but there was twice as much hydrogen.
Oh my god! Speaking of which, take a sip of my H2O.
So, since we've awkwardly segued into the subject, and we all are comfortable with the fact, with the fact that the prequels they stink on ice, as Mel Brooks would say. How do we feel about the post prequel movies?
Okay,
7, 8, 9, and the extras.
so my dirty little secret is that there are elements of the prequel. It's hard to find much redeeming value.
They're not all bad. I will give you that.
liked
And
Clone
here's the
Wars.
problem: is that Darth Maul, easily the most interesting aspect of Episode 1. It completely. Now I know he comes back in Clone Wars or whatever, which is great because he should.
Spoiler alert.
But yeah, okay. But I think everybody is aware of this by now, especially if they saw the end of
Solo.
Solo. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't necessarily spoil it because
No, you just
'cause
spoiled
the
Solo,
prequels.
that's
The
fine.
prequels did happen before Solo. So anyway, point being, easily the most interesting part of Episode 1, and they completely wipe him out for no reason whatsoever. If he should have been the main villain throughout the whole prequels. You know, he should have been the apprentice the whole time. We didn't need Christopher Lee as much as I love Christopher Lee. I didn't buy that that
Dooku?
old dude was, throwing down against Anakin, but whatever. Darth Maul was the guy. He should have been the guy. And Ray Park is awesome.
Yeah. I love when he wrote Ghostbusters.
Yeah. That was his son, Ray Park Jr.
I don't I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he's a cool character, but I feel like we didn't really know. He's actually kind of annoying in Clone Wars.
Yeah, I haven't really watched Clone Wars. I have to admit that,
Really?
that the animated shows I have not watched.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Clone Wars or Rebels. Yeah, and
I have
I
a
want
cheat
to.
sheet. I have a
It's not
cheat sheet somewhere that I could.
It's
that I
not a
could-
thing where it's like a doctrine thing. It's like, no, I will not do that. But and you say it in that voice. But I just haven't sat down to watch them.
Yeah.
I like the art style of it. I think that's neat looking.
Mm-hmm. They're good. I
But,
mean, there's a lot of just a lot of fighting, which
Well, yeah.
it gets it just gets tiresome after a while. You're like, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
And there's a lot of just like whippy spinny stuff, and you're like, okay.
yeah. But the story, when they're actually engaged in dialogue and
Mm-hmm.
character development and plot and kind of moving the plot forward, it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I need to take the time and just sit down and watch them.
Especially the clones, like the stories around the clones, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's good.
Cool. Well, it's the wars are apparently about the clones, so
Right. Well, there you go.
hence the name. But the all of the Sith stuff I always found to be really fascinating, because I mean you get, I mean, not to get all like weirdly woke on this or anything, but it's like you hear all about how awesome the Jedi are, but you don't hear much of the Sith side. And I kind of enjoyed hearing the Sith side. It's like I really enjoy that scene in Dark Knight where the Joker and Batman are talking to one another. And the Joker basically lays out his philosophy. And it's almost like, you know what? I get where he's coming from. I mean, it's crazy and it's, insane. And absolutely Batman should be fighting against this guy. But it's not like he's not making a little bit of sense here. And so the Sith are kind of like that too. It's like I kind of get where they're coming from, and hearing more about them, was I wanted to learn more about the Sith. They're kind of neat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
scared me a
they've
little
got
bit
those.
now.
Yeah. Well,
No, I think you're right in some ways. So one of the thought experiments I like to run is that question of who was the real, if we like that, who the bad guy is very relative, right? So,
Yeah.
So like the rebels in Star Wars parlance are the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are the Empire, the rebels are the bad guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you think about, but when you think about in society, and I don't want to get into really controversial stuff, right? But oftentimes, people who we consider to be rebels, that's not usually a positive connotation.
Right. It's all down to what they're rebelling against and why.
Yeah, and who's going to lose out? Who?
Yeah. If
has
they win,
interests.
what does the world look like?
Correct. Right. And I
Right.
think we all can imagine different, futures with different sets of rebels and stuff where we would be thinking more like the Empire,
Mm-hmm.
hey, maybe we don't let him blow our Death Star up.
Right. We protect our Death Star from that
yeah,
guy.
because also think about it, how many people die? How many people exploded when the Death Star blew up?
Well, I mean, we're getting into some Kevin Smith's area here.
And
But I totally kind of agree with his thing that, you know what, the first Death Star, it's fully operational. Everybody on there is an Imperial. That's fine. Blow it up. But the second one, it's still being built. So there's contractors,
it was
there's plumbers.
operational though. It was operational.
Yeah, but they're still
Somehow-
building it,
somehow-
There's a carpenter in there that didn't have anything to do with any of this, and he got wiped out.
Why does it need to be so big if it's operational and it's half built?
Clerks by Kevin Smith. Watch it. But they have this whole discussion.
Oh, well, now
I don't want us to seem like we're being derivative because
because we are being accidentally derivative apparently.
yeah.
Um,
That's accidentally derivative. That's a fantastic album. I think it was Talking Heads.
so even that, that's great.
No, I'm kidding. It's
Okay.
not. That's a shtick I do.
So the point is like from a I mean when you said that the whole Sith thing was interesting, I think that makes a lot of sense. I do wish so when it comes to like the most recent trilogy,
Yeah.
I was hoping I feel like what we missed was we missed another trilogy in there that should have happened before the more recent one, which we won't even talk about. Because what the heck happened?
Like between 6 and 7?
Yeah,
Like, how did the First Order show up and all that?
like the last one when we
Right.
it's almost like all
Seems
of that
like there was
didn't matter.
something they were wanting
It's like
to
all
do.
of it didn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
and somehow we've screwed it up. Like, yeah, you
Yeah.
won, and like you got to have the second.
Well, it's like the New Republic didn't even exist.
That's what I'm saying. Like something happened,
It's like,
right? And
like they didn't
don't
even
worry,
know
we're
the
not gonna-
First Order was there.
No need to explain that. We're just basically going to have them
Yeah.
rebelling again because that's what they're good at, right?
'Cause, yeah, I mean,
because maybe that's what it is. Maybe what happened was they actually did that was the plan all along. Because once like the rebellion was over, and they had the New Republic, like they went off to try to live off the land or something, and they like didn't like the life. They're like, I can't do this. I'm a
Right.
warrior. I'm a rebel, right? And then they caused the next thing to happen. Maybe it's their fault.
Ooh, now that's an interesting idea.
So I would love
like
to
General
see this.
Maydeen or somebody is actually.
I would
behind
love
the
to
First
see the
Order.
story told from that from the perspective of like the people who felt it necessary to destroy the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like, how,
who's-
what do you see that as bad?
So we know that the Sith would have taken advantage of that. Like they see an in,
Sure.
they're like, oh, a wedge. They're like, okay, like this is how I get in, right?
Mhm.
But what else was going on that made? I don't know. Like I that's where my head went.
There's something there, that you want to explore a little more.
Well, yeah.
I tell you, you're talking about how like rebels, some rebels, if you're rebelling, you're not necessarily a good guy just by default. I think they explored that a little bit with Rogue One because honestly, what's his name? Cassian Indo?
I told you I was terrible with names. It's not gonna happen.
Cassian.
I have to look it up.
Cassian Endoscopic.
Endoscopic. Now we're doing
I don't know.
surgery.
It's Indo something, I think. Cassian. But anyway, the main guy, the main good guy.
Cassian,
I mean, he like
Cassiano Castillo.
That's not right.
No, he's a basketball player. I just want to see if you.
Good old Cassiano Castillo. That's very much a Star Wars name. There's not a flip in there or something. Plong Blue Car.
He had big green ears. He was related to Greedo.
But my point is, it's got to be Indo. It's Cassian Indo, I think. And that should tell you a little bit about the movie. Andor.
Played
Thank you.
by Diego
Andor,
Luna.
which is a planet in Star Trek, actually, Andor, where the Andorians, as you might expect, come from. But they show him, and he's kind of a brutal dude. Like he murders this one dude just so he won't talk. And the guy did not want to be murdered. The guy was not like, you better kill me because I'm afraid they're going to talk. He was like, no, don't kill me. And he blasts him right in the face. That's not a good guy there. So I'm kind of putting a little bit of a black eye on the rebellion there, I think. But I mean, realistically so, I suppose. But still, yikes, right?
Well, I mean, yes, I mean, and I think that Rogue One did a nice job of exploring like the that narrative that there's different people in play here with their own reasons for being against this thing.
Right.
I don't think they called it the Empire at the time, right? It was like,
I guess it was.
oh,
Was it Imperial by then? Yeah, he was the Emperor because he was the Emperor at the end of Episode 3, right?
I know, but did they call it the Empire? Like in Rogue One, did they refer to it as the Empire?
I'd have to go back and watch it now.
I don't think because they don't in Solo, right?
I think. Wow, I don't know. It's a good point. I think they do, but I have nothing to back that up. I don't know them as well as I know the other movies. Because
so here's a quote from your friend Cassian Andor. He said, "Suddenly the rebellion is real for you. Some of us live it. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. You're not the only one who lost everything. Some of us just decided to do something about it."
okay, so the guy has to be, considering how high up he is in the rebellion, he's got to be 25, 26 years old, right? At least.
Well, I can tell you.
If he's been in the fight since he was 6, that predates the fall of the Republic, doesn't it?
He was born.
This is such a nerdy podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Apologies to everyone, but he was born 26 BBY, which is before the Battle of
Yavin. Yeah.
And Yavin, of course, is the
Episode
battle
4.
that we see where the Death Stars exploded.
Right. But in episode 4, they mentioned that the Death Star had just recently become fully operational. And we see at the end of Rogue One that, oh my God, the very ill-advised CGI character of Grand Moff Tarkin.
See, I thought it was well done.
I'm sorry, it was awful. It was terrible.
I don't think that he had to play such a prominent role.
That's what made it bad,
Like,
right? Because they like sort of got cocky with it.
They even got like close up, right? Like,
right, and he's a cartoon. I mean, I'm sorry, he's obviously not human. When you have in your
look
grasp,
better than Jar Jar.
Well, good God Almighty, we can talk about the vast list of things that look better than Jar Jar, but you had this immense treasure in the actor Charles Dance, who played Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
practically a spitting image of Peter Cushing, and could have played that role convincingly as Grand Moff Tarkin and done an amazing job with it. And they went with this crap instead. Expensive?
No, actually, this was probably
more expensive. It's a Star Wars movie.
It was probably more expensive to do the CGI than.
Probably so. It was, I mean, all they have to do is pay for 35 seconds of the visual effects budget is, and they got this guy. He would have been so good. And I mean, maybe that's the professional actor in me going, you used a computer simulation of a dude instead of an actual actor? Bite me. But that would have been really good. And you recast. I mean, they recast Mon Mothma. Why not recast him?
That's true. Good point. But that was years later.
Well.
I mean.
Was she not in... She's in Rogue One. Mon Mothma, isn't she? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she is, but not. Yeah, she is. You're right.
Yeah. There's a lot of Mons. That's a little weird. Mon Mothma, Mon Calamari.
Maybe they couldn't get the rights to her likeness or something. Maybe.
I doubt that. I don't know what the actress's name is that played her in Jedi, but surely she's not that big of a stickler of. Oh no.
She had a better agent, like.
than the dead Peter Cushing.
He negotiated a much tighter contract.
Peter Cushing was Van Helsing, for the love of God.
George Lucas was all about that.
Oh yeah.
Like I just look up. I just want the licensing rights or something. I just want your.
With the merchandising rights.
Yeah, and he got the rights to the likenesses, and that's how Kenner was able to do all those toys and stuff.
Man,
and, it was brilliant.
That's a Bill Gates licensing DOS moment right there.
Yeah,
just the sudden brilliance of that, and it created a massive empire. That.
Can you imagine how, if you were Alec Guinness, can you imagine how you must have felt?
To have done the body of work that he had done and to be known for Star Wars.
Well, no, I mean just to show
up. I know
up
he wasn't happy about that.
Up. No, I know, and it's kind of, and I get it, but at the same time, he did reckon the only reason he did it is for money. I mean, he said that in interviews. It was just a lot of money. They were willing to pay him a lot of money. So, and he had and it was a cakewalk compared to the stuff he typically had to do. So, but can you imagine when you're on set and you're surrounded by these guys and you're thinking,
the hell am I doing?
I think we've all had those moments where we've either walked into a job or something and we were like, what did I do? Like,
I have made a grave error.
What did I do here?
Just trying to get to the end of the call sheet. That's all.
I could have been a contender.
Well, that's the thing is Guinness was he was the bomb, and then I imagine it would be kind of daunting for him to think about that being more or less his swan song. Well, that and Empire, and no, he was in Jedi, so he made it all through all three of them. So he kept coming back. So there's that.
Yeah. I kind of felt this way when I was at the D23 convention in 2015, and Ed Asner was there signing autographs, and
for Up,
like,
I assume.
Why? Like what? Like what?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like he was doing one of those. It wasn't like I'm just making sure that was the right year. It wasn't like he was doing one of those like meet and greet things like Disney sponsored. Oh, like we bring him out on stage and do this thing, and then afterwards people line up to get his autograph or whatever. No, he was at like one of those little booths.
Right. Yeah. He was just kind of signing.
And I'm sure somebody from that booth paid him to be there to sign merch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like you're at Asner.
What are you doing here?
Like, what are you right? I imagine like that's like how Alec Guinness would like. I'm sure Ed like it occurred to him too. Like, I wasn't saying
like,
Ed.
What am I
like, hey
doing
Ed,
here?
Mr. Asner.
If I have to talk to another guy dressed up as the dude from Up, I'm going to bomb it.
I have to do that voice one more. Oh wait, it's just my voice.
But yeah, I mean, for a long time, I went to Dragon Con every year, right? That's a giant science fiction convention in Atlanta. And it's huge. And it's amazing the people that you'll see there. And you'll see like the most obscure people ever. Like I've met Mike TV from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the really good one, not the crap one.
The original.
Yes, the Gene Wilder. And
did he have the cowboy hat on?
He did not. As a matter of fact, he is stone bald.
Well, you should have the cowboy.
But he was also like 4.5 feet tall. But a nice guy, very nice guy. I don't want to say anything bad about him. He was nice. And Veruca Salt was there too. She also was nice. She was nothing like her character.
What were they doing at the drag? What were Willy Wonka people doing at the?
Cashing in on the fact that they were in Willy Wonka. And
so you think they go to like all like lots of
I think they probably run the con circuit, yeah. And that's the thing is you see these guys over and over again because they do a tour basically.
Dude,
and it's especially
movie.
like I saw there's Con Man. Have you ever watched Con Man? You need to watch Con Man. It's Alan Tudyk wrote it and stars in it, and it's about basically it's about himself because he's playing a guy from a canceled science fiction show that everybody loved, but he's trying to become a legit actor, and he just keeps getting dragged back into all of the science fiction stuff, and it's frustrating the heck out of him, and it's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. One of the funniest things I've seen.
There's like it seems to me that there's a great movie plot for but it's not just about one person; it's about like the whole group of people who just like that's their subsistence is.
So they're all, might get some rivalries going, and
yeah, but it's almost like I'm imagining like a best in show kind of dynamic.
Oh yeah,
like,
that would work.
Like a cast of characters, they're all going to like these things, and there's all these weird love triangles happening behind the scenes and redemption stories.
You certainly have clash of fandoms, like sort of like the Trek guys versus the Star Wars guys, and but it's two different. It's like it's not Trek and Star Wars. It's two made up things or whatever, but they're fighting each other all the time. Or it's kind of an aggro thing. That would be fun.
Well, if Disney makes it, they can totally. It could have like Marvel, and they could have Star Wars, and they could have.
But that's the thing is that there were also like people that I wouldn't call them like A-listers. Tom Cruise didn't show up, but they're like Billy D. Williams was there, and I met him, and he was I mean that's a pretty. He was
slow to rise.
He was. It was.
Sorry,
And this was like a long time
I cannot
ago.
believe I just made fun of Billy D. Williams up there. I'm gonna.
No, but he's cool, man. He was.
No, he is
even,
cool. It's just it
even in
was sad
slow
to
mo,
see
he
him.
was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was sad when they did the opening of Galaxy's Edge in
Yeah.
California, and
Yeah, you hate to
it's
see
like,
it.
oh, why did they do that? Why? I know that was nice to include him, but at the same time, we all got to see like how not the character he like the version of him we see in Rise of Skywalker is definitely not the guy. It's not the dude we saw.
There were many
Galaxy's Edge.
takes that got us the
Well, they didn't
performance.
move. He didn't move. If you notice, like in the movie, they're like he's at a standing position at all times,
Yeah.
or sitting or something. And
Yeah. But I mean, people age. It's But this was like pre-2000, and he was already kind of like that. So, it is what it is. But it was still a pretty big name, and like Stan Lee was there one year, and like big guys would go to these things, and like the whole Firefly cast was there at one point. And I guess maybe that's a bigger deal to me than it is to the world at large. But I mean, that's Nathan Fillion's a huge guy now. I guess maybe he wasn't then, but that kind of stuff. You see these dudes, and some of them you're like that. You're like, what the heck are you doing here? But they're, the stuff that they're selling or whatever, that stuff is apparently going to charities and things like that. So that's pretty cool. But then you got some of these guys that were like, I was, crewman 5 on this one episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and this is all I have. And you do kind of feel for those dudes, and you're like, okay, I'll buy a thing. But no, you don't have to sign it. but yeah. So there's that.
how did we get there? Your Sith love. That's right.
Yeah, my love for the Sith. Yeah.
Wow.
Sith happens.
It's a sad little journey you just took us on.